Alright, video. Alright, we're still on this stupid velocity, trying to measure it with a light beam. And Pyrrho's just left these stupid inane comments, so I figure it's worth going over. But it did, a thought arise. Well, this thought had already arisen at the very notion of, they say the sun, the solar system, is somehow moving inside the galaxy at some kind of 184 miles a second. Something like that. Big number. And we're going around the sun at 18 miles a second, which seems more reasonable. But I was thinking about the idea of a solar system and how the hell you exactly move a solar system at a velocity. Like how the Earth could possibly go two velocities at the same time. Like somehow it's being compelled to go against its own inertia. It's moving 184,000 miles a second in a direction. And then somehow it has an inertia to go against that speed. Where would that inertia come from? Where would that impetus come from? I mean, I just don't think you can combine solar gravity and some sort of collective inertia and still maintain orbits. How could they possibly be maintained? Because each individual planet would have to have more than one velocity at a time in opposite directions. Doesn't seem plausible. Yeah, not at all plausible. So anyway, I have to, I mean, you can just draw a picture of it and you say, well, how could I model that? A solar system moving 184 miles a second. Incredibly fast. Especially stuff just floating out here like Pluto, barely being connected to the solar system. Slow velocity. It takes a year or whatever to get around here. If it's got this velocity, how can it do that direction? Just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to take orbits and move them. Gravitational orbits. It makes sense to you, it doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah, I find that implausible. Anyway, I mean, I'll think about it some more, but I just can't see how it's possible that they could all have, hey, we all know we're going that fast in that direction, and we're still going to play this little orbit game with the sun. Just doesn't seem like that could be possible. It's like orbiting bullets or something. I don't know how you could. I'll try to find a metaphor for it, but it just doesn't seem to. It's like having a whirlpool in the Colorado River or something that just goes down the stream and stays together. It somehow just doesn't get washed away. I mean, how can you maintain structure in such a stream? I guess that's a good way to put it. I mean, eddies are in quiet places, not fast-moving places. Alright, please realize whichever velocity you accept, quote unquote. Well, first off, I thought we were talking about what we could measure daily in terms of a difference, and then we were talking about what you could measure yearly in terms of a difference, and now you've extended to this galactic thing. And I just think that's sort of breaking the whole point here. But anyway, that it's not a deflection through the year, it's through the day, because the Earth rotates once a day, so the laser on Earth would go through all orientations during the day. No, it wouldn't. If the Earth, let's say, was going in some direction overall, let's say 64 miles a second, and you were rotating on Earth, you can't undo the 64. All you can do is add to the 64 and subtract to the 64. So all you can do is do this, but you can't change the 64. You can just put a little pause in it, but it won't change the fact that you're going 64,000 miles first, and then you're just going 63 or you're going 65. But you can't change the 64 part. So the 63 part is still going to, the one direction is persistent, yes. But again, I'm not accepting your 184 miles a second argument, because I still don't understand how the Earth, for example, could have inertia at 84,000 miles a second in one direction and then somehow rotate against that. I don't think it could do that. No. LOL. Why divergence? Because they are wave-like, and unlike bullets, waves flow will diverge. Huygens. Yeah, whatever. You want to just keep always bending things to your preferences, that's fine. I think I'm making a perfectly rational argument that if electrons can't be lined up to create parallel rays of light, because of the very fact that this emitter, all these electrons, are in fact changing their angles constantly as our angles change as the Earth rotates through these different vectors of velocity and acceleration, so that they're constantly not lined up perfectly, because at each emission, at each interval of time, there's going to be a change in the position. The absolute position is changing. And so maybe that's why there is Brownian motion. Maybe that's why we can't shoot a photon straight, is because you can never know where exactly you are on that velocity vector. Well, maybe we can know. That's, like I said, the experiment I think is worth doing, is seeing in a rotation of light. If you rotate the light source through 360 degrees, they could probably make a pretty good centrifugal, size, a big, a stadium, for example, something with a few hundred meters, and see how the light changes at different vectors. And you might be able to detect something that way, in terms of how much the light's diverging. Because maybe the divergence of the light is dependent on the direction, how much velocity or acceleration it has at any one moment. I mean, the thing to, I don't want to have to constantly explain shit to people, but if I provoke gravity with a body, this is a round body, the gravity doesn't come out. The interaction between two bodies isn't like laser beam interaction. That's the whole point of the inverse square law. Okay, is the fact that whatever goes in comes out in any one of these vectors that is forward, that has a forward component. So any vector that has a forward component is going to be where the gravity is going to be expelled. So it's automatically diluted. And that's sort of the point I'm making, is maybe the velocity problem, the material velocity problem, is creating the same kind of circumstance where it's going to get expelled in any one of the forward components, which means it's going to be spread based on how fast you're going. Jeez. I mean, you can just pretend, that doesn't mean anything. That couldn't possibly be an explanation. I'm just going to make silly jokes. Okay, fuck you. You keep talking about a year. Whatever our velocity on Earth, regardless of its source, will deflect differently throughout the day because we are spinning around in that velocity once a day. For fuck's sake, somebody tell him. Yeah, well, for fuck's sake, I made a video explicitly saying I don't buy that we're moving 184 miles a second in the galaxy. I don't buy that bullshit number. I think it's a bullshit, insane number, because if we were doing that, I don't think Pluto would still be here. I don't think any of the planets would still be here. I think it's bullshit. So, yeah, bring your number down to one more rational that has something to do with the Earth's rotation around the sun, which seems to be the dominant gravity. It doesn't seem like there's any other thing pushing the sun around anywhere near us. There's certainly no fucking goddamn gravity well we're in, because if we're in a fucking gravity well, you know damn well that the Earth and every other planet would be sliding off of it. If we were moving into a gravity well, this wouldn't be a complicated question, right? So if the gravity well was the source of our velocity, all right, there's just no question that when the solar system encounters the gravity well, there's going to be more gravity on this side than on this side. And clearly all the planets in their orbits are just going to drift off every time they go around this side. They're all going to get pulled into the gravity well. So they're not going to be here very long. So if we're in a gravity well that's created enough acceleration to get us up to 184 miles a second, then that's pretty significant fucking gravity, I think. Asshole. So, and you wouldn't detect it, like I said, even if it existed, even if it was possible that we had this stupid, preposterous speed, yes, that would give you one side of the equation. So you could see one half of the it being off, and it would be off in only one direction. But yeah, I think we know it's more complicated than that, and I think more importantly, I think we know we're not close to anything like a gravity well. We're not even, I mean, not one of Newton's equations has to be refigured to account for the gravity of the galaxy. Not one. There's not enough gravity from the gravity well that's got us going 184 miles a second. Not 1 ounce of that gravity is somehow felt enough by one tug on one planet ever for us to see it. And at minimum, let's say you presume that the whole solar system was somehow rotating on that on that edge, so that no side ever got more gravity than the other side. That was constantly the whole solar system was rotating exactly on the edge of the gravity. And then it would still expand the orbits. So redo your calculations. All right, last comment. Please show your math. I did the math. I mean, I pointed it out. I said, look, I took 0.27 and I, blah, blah, divided into the speed of light, and I came up with a number of 666,666 to 1 for 1,000 miles an hour. So if you want to do the every half year thing, well, then you increase it to like 18,000 miles a second. An hour. All right. Yeah, you did your math in a half an hour. I don't think there's any argument about the fucking math here, jackass. It's what you're fucking including in the math. You're saying we're moving 184 miles a second. I'm saying that's crap. Steaming crap. All right. Anyway, there's this moving 1/10,000th of the speed of light. So he's got us all the way up to 1/10,000th of the speed of light now. Well, which is insanely fast. So should be deflected according to you 1 part for every 10,000th forward direction. No, I said 1 part per 666,666. That's what I said. 1 part to 666,666 for the stuff we're doing every day. Now, if you want to include the Earth's rotation, well, yeah, that would be one side of the equation, so we can add that, because that's a known. But this stupid 184,000 number, I'm not going to include. All right. So fuck you. All right. Well, anyway, no point in getting any further. I don't want to do a comment video because these guys are all assholes. Yeah, sausage for mash. You're just such a cunt. Fuck you, stealing fucking smart chimpanzees, insulting chimpanzees, you fucking bastard, piece of shit weasel. But all these assholes, all this talk, all this shit. Ugh, it's so disgusting. Do you have a good grounding in current physics? What the fuck is current physics, jackass? Oh, you mean like magnetism and electricity? Yeah, well, what? What's current physics? Oh, you mean phantasmagorical, silly putty shit. Dark matter? Do you have you analyzed the dark matter theory by shoving psychedelics up your anus? Yeah, fuck you. No, I haven't, cunt. What does that have to do with the arguments I'm making, you jackasses? Either you make a fucking argument or fuck off. I mean, really, fuck off. Make an argument or fuck off. I mean, these arguments from "you're not qualified" is bullshit. I mean, fuck, Einstein was in a patent office, remember, douchebags? And certainly I know more than he did, in the sense that science in 100 years has gotten pretty extensive. So I'm sure I had better cloud chamber experiments that I actually did in high school, or I did in grammar school, were probably more sophisticated than anything Einstein saw. Cunt. just deplorable pukes. Take an IQ test, score high, and use it against anyone who makes credential attacks against you. You know what? I mean, that stupid Ken Wheeler guy, I bet he does have a really high IQ. And he's a fucking idiot. Jesus. I mean, this is just so stupid. No, if you have a high IQ, you're right. Oh, is that how the world works? No, I think that's why the world sucks, is because you assholes think IQ means something. You know, no. People with high IQs can be ignorant cunts. It's just a fact. I mean, being able to do one thing well or two things well doesn't mean you can do anything else in the universe well. And, you know, most people with a high IQ have wasted it, you know, memorizing video game strategies, for fuck's sake. They haven't done anything useful with it. I have 6,433,000 chess strategies memorized by heart. Yeah, how useful is that? I think that's about as useful as being able to count toothpicks on the fucking goddamn diner's floor. I'm a very good driver. Yeah, fuck that kind of intelligence. Fucking cunts. Oh my God, I just hate people. Disgusting creatures.